So we talked about we can compose functions, inverse functions, and we can compose them actually with themselves or with other functions. So now I'm going to look at here, and I have the cosine inverse of cosine of 4 pi over 3. Well, 4 pi over 3 is in the third quadrant here, and it's negative. So it's a negative value, but I know it's going to be something in the, I want the angle, so it's something in the pi over 3 family, but since it's negative, I have to look in the second quadrant. So actually the inverse, the angle whose cosine is what the cosine of 4 pi over 3 is, which is negative 1/2, is actually 2 pi over 3. 11 pi over 4, 11 pi over 4 is in the second quadrant. Remember, it's I'm going around, that's 8 pi over 4, and then 11 would be here. And so it's in the second quadrant, and it's negative, but remember, sine is only defined, inverse sine is only defined in these two quadrants, so the negative one would be negative pi over 4. So you have to be careful, it's not always the same thing. Here, tangent, where the tangent inverse is negative 2. This is backwards, so I need, and the angle whose tangent's negative 2, the tangent of that is just going to be negative 2. So in that direction, it really comes straight through. And here, the cosine of the angle whose cosine is negative 2/3 is just negative 2/3. So sometimes it's a little bit easier to take the trig function of the inverse rather than the inverse of the trig function.